And we're live. Hello, welcome to another Industry Live. Hello, I'm That Kimberly, and
And I am Lissi Daniels. Hello, hello.
back again. Thank you for joining me today. We're talking about the social media scaries, and yeah.
Yeah,
So,
right. What does that
what
mean,
does that
right?
mean?
What is
We're gonna
woo,
dive into it. Yeah, we're gonna dive into it. We're gonna hit some, both you and I, the scaries, our scaries are different, and then what we can do to overcome those scaries. So we're going to share some suggestions and some tips on that. But before we do that, wherever you're watching us from, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter, um, make sure you let us know where you hashtag replay if you watch on the replay, and where you watched from. If you have a social media scary, put it in the comments. We want to know. And if you have a question about anything that we're talking about, leave it in the comments as well. So I want to make sure we throw that out there before folks we start going and get jumping into the scaries. If you have be a guest, I have to remember to say this, because we are having two, even after this, our amazing Lisi's been on how many times now? 4 times. I'm
yes.
I'm excited. We'll have her back again, but we'll also have some other great guests. Stephanie Ayler's coming on in the next 2 weeks, and Steve Gilbert. So, but
Woo.
we'll touch on those when we wrap up. So, yeah, so I think I covered everything. If you want to click on this link to get some resources, also where to sign to watch these lives, I think that's everything. I think that's my notes, the to-dos, if you
You
will.
got
So
it, right?
yeah, I got that in minutes almost.
I think awesome. No,
Yeah,
I wanted to kind of talk about how did we come up with this, the social media scaries. I think it comes back from our own personal experiences, right?
yeah,
Especially
for
mine,
sure.
just being scared of just putting yourself out there into this world and, and showing your creativity side and, owning up to who you are, right? I think that's sometimes that could be a little
That's
overwhelming, I
Oh,
think.
for sure. Having anxiety about what to say, when to say, why, and everything else. Just getting out of your own way. You and I have had several conversations about getting out. It's not being perfect, right?
Yeah.
When we're going to go post things, but what we need to remember is just to be consistent.
Hmm.
Being perfect is something that, I don't know about you, but it causes me to either not post or forget, or or just not put out the type of content on a regular basis that I need to be putting.
I know one thing is for sure is like consistency is key, like we always say. And sometimes it's true that we do get in our own way. We are in our own heads because it's like you want it to look right, you want it to come across right, you want to make sure the message is there. But then at the same time, you're like, it's okay to not be like that.
Yeah,
It's just people relate to true authenticity. They relate to what you're going through, what you're posting, and especially if in a place where you're stepping out and branding yourself, you definitely
yep,
got to show that, but you also got to show your value of what you're trying to
yeah,
accomplish in that
because
message, right?
yeah, it's about you. It's about you're providing knowledge to your audience, and
Yeah.
resources to your audience. So
And I think it's
yeah,
just taking one step. I think there's no right or wrong. I think you learn, and I think I'm learning, and you grow with it, you evolve with it, you find out what works and what doesn't work, right? So there's plenty of times I know I have posted or done a video and I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm posting it. And then it's like I get there maybe 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to remove it. It's like, no.
what thoughts come into your head? Let's dig in. What
Yeah.
goes through your head? Why
Oh
do you take
God.
it down?
I mean, it's that first thought of me overthinking, like, do I sound okay? Is my message really hitting core? Is anyone liking it? Oh my gosh, there's so many things that I wish I would stop thinking of in that
Yeah,
process and
Mhm.
just do what I do best, or what I think I do best, right? At the end of the
Yeah.
day. And that's putting yourself out there for someone else to relate to, but to build that sense of community as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
my
And
brain.
sharing and sharing your knowledge.
Yeah.
Like you are a teacher. That's what you know, you guide and coach people. I think that when we start thinking much about, you know, what we're doing and who we're doing it for, it definitely can cause that social media scary and stop us from anything, you know.
Yeah.
The key to social media is practice and consistency. And the more you the muscle, like us going live, you know, I'm committed to myself to doing industry live no matter what, once a week, you know, as long as nobody gets sick, no death or stuff like that. Like I have not, you know, we've had to cancel and it hasn't been traumatic. I try to always go live, even if I don't go live on, you know, here on industry live on my Instagram.
Yeah.
But that is the minimum, and I'm doing the minimum right now because I get into my own head, because I have these scaries going on. And Gary Vee says you should be posting on each of your platforms 4 to 10 times a
Ah,
day.
that's
And
a
that's
lot.
that's low. And that's you know, yeah, he's pumping out content. People, just because you see it, you
Yeah.
know, because like doesn't mean Sue's gonna see it.
Yeah.
Just because Susie Q sees something is gonna be seen by, you know, Harry Joe, whatever.
Yeah.
So you just don't, you have to put it out there, and them picks up. And the way the algorithm works on TikTok is really about engagement, like comments,
Mhm.
and you know, really on all of them now. They're running all like TikTok, but it's about comments and shares, because
Yeah.
you know, is your content valuable, you know, to someone, even if it's just one person.
You know, and you hit it right on the nail. It is. As long as you can get one person in that engagement, in that comment, then you're doing something. And it's true. Every platform is a different audience. I am learning that. So that's a little bit more of the scary side, because you got different generations and you're looking at, okay, here, let me kind of step into TikTok. And I'm like, whoo, I'm far from being anywhere in TikTok of my influence with my daily inspiration videos, but I am going to keep doing it, right? And then you have
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook. Did you know that Facebook is the #1 platform in
Really?
regards? Yes, I
Right
was
now?
like, it is, and I don't know why I was thinking TikTok was, but
Well, TikTok lead for a long time. Well, really, actually, they say, you know, YouTube is the second largest search engine because they're owned by Google. You know, Google one, and then YouTube's number two.
wow,
Um, but I, you know, I haven't looked at stats as far as usage, you know, goes lately. So
yeah,
so it came
TikTok
up.
is very last in place with only 1.0 million. Jeez,
Which one is who's last in place?
TikTok. So
What?
I don't feel bad that I only have 124 followers.
Well, you should always, Gary Vee says, for even if it's 1 follower, 10 followers, or that, like, be grateful for the ones that you are connected with,
Yeah,
for
I am
sure.
very grateful for that, because it gives you a new sense of, of a community, and there's someone out there who wants to listen to you. And I think that's the thing about it. We don't need to be afraid of it, in the sense of growing your brand, growing who as far as what you want to accomplish, but it's another sense of, getting out there and letting your voice be heard.
Yeah. How often do you post?
Oh gosh, I do not post every day. It may come across as I post every day.
But that's good. It looks like you do, so that's good. You know,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I try to plan it out. So I do my daily, I have different ones. So I do my daily inspiration videos, which is a combination to where I try to do those every week. If not,
Yeah.
I know I call it daily, but it is weekly. I just like
Mhm.
the sound of daily more, because it's giving you that inspiration for the new week, new things going. And I do record those in the mornings, and then they get posted out that same day. I try to, but I don't stay as consistent as I would like. And I see a lot of people who are, and they have some great stuff.
Well,
So
you see, and there's a social media scary. You're
yes,
comparing yourself
I
to someone
do.
else, and you shouldn't, because you are your individual you. It's not about you, it's about the audience and what
True.
value you're bringing to the audience. And your is there watching you because of those daily inspirations. I see yours all the time, and I try to do my best or say something thoughtful about it, because Gary Vee says that's how you
Yeah.
build and get, and I want to support my fellow, so speaker coach. I want you to feel that love, and when I comment, then it's my with my followers, right? Like
Yeah.
and I can connect to people that follow you that I might not know.
And I
So
appreciate that so
yeah,
much because
it's I try to give as much social media love to anybody that I know that
Mhm.
is putting their best forward to put out there.
And I don't think it's so much like the comparison side of things. I think it's that you see people doing good things, so you want to learn from that. So you kind of like, it's almost like an inspiration for you, right? So you pick out things you're like, oh, I like how they do this. Oh, okay, maybe I need to work on this. Maybe I need to come up with a different plan or outlook or devise it. I think that in a sense, but it could be, it could be scary at the same time, just taking those steps and even putting yourself out there. You
Yeah.
I have family and friends that say, Lissi, I couldn't do what you do. And I say, yeah, you can. And here I'm telling them they can. And like, all you have to do is just do it. Just take that first step and do it. And
Yeah.
you learn from it. So
Yeah. Getting past any insecurities is number one. And maybe just the insecurity of just posting every single day. Consistent key. Practice helps the exercise of the overall, thing, and you
yeah.
just get more comfortable. I mean, since you started posting your daily inspiration, you just become more comfortable in what you're posting.
Yes, you do. And you find your niche, right? Find what
Yeah.
is that passion that drives out there and what you really want to focus on as far as being the expert. And I think I've learned that even like posting more and growing and my
Mhm.
audience growing, it was naturally, it's organic, in the
Yeah.
sense because they see what you have is of value, but at the same time, have fun with it, right? Don't allow it to make it to where it's more exhausting than anything. Plan it out,
Yeah.
have a calendar. I think we were talking about that every week. Do
Yes, social
something.
media calendar, yeah. A-
Make
And
and
all the platforms will let you do at least scheduling from there
mhm.
on, if you don't have a calendar that or a schedule that schedules to all of them.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things to where I'm like, wow, there's so many people who are actively on social media. So our one little thought of being overwhelmed, I'm guaranteed there's billions other people out there who
Yeah.
have the exact same thoughts.
How you were telling me you pulled up some good stats. What's the
Yeah.
latest on social media
Yeah,
stats?
so there's 3.5 billion active social media users. Whoa.
3.5 billion on all of the different
Yes,
platforms.
that's a big number. And and I pull this off of just Google search. You can kind of review and look, but then it's 6.4 seconds a new account is created. So
Every
just
6.
imagine that. So there is a place in that genre that you can focus on, you can work through, you can create, you can trial and error. Just don't let it, consume and overwhelm you. And at the same time, it has its benefits for you as well.
Yeah. I got the best advice from a friend of mine when I because she tackled Instagram first and was going, she was doing a reel single day. Lives and reels are a little bit different, and that's one of the social media scares is the app itself not working when I'm in that app,
Yeah.
you know but I'm finding out that it depends on the phone's updates. It depends on if it's an Android or an Apple. Always going to be different features on every single app than, depending on your phone. She told me that she just hits record and she doesn't review it, and
Ah,
she said, and that's how I started doing my Instagram lives. I don't do reels because I haven't been able to. I just I'm I'm still working on it,
yeah.
right? Like, but it seemed to be so much easier for me because I'm used to it. It's you live video is, I think, like 8 times more than any other content. It's always watched. Video is always number one, first, foremost, and then live. Like, is always going to, it's sitting out there even after live. It's sitting out there to be replayed. So when she told me that she just rips the Band-Aid, I started doing that. And that's, and there are some days I can feel the anxiety about, because I don't feel like I like my topic or what I'm trying to communicate is, it just, I feel like it's not right, authentic,
Yeah.
that I speak intelligently enough about it. So sometimes I'll just rip the Band-Aid. I'll take one thing that's in my head, and it doesn't matter if I have makeup on, what, I try to get decent and comb my hair at least and brush my teeth.
Those are the necessities, but sometimes,
yeah,
just makeup, roll out and just be yourself. And you're like, hi, I'm here today.
Yeah. We don't want to get too drastic when it comes to that. But sometimes I need it. I need the rip of the Band-Aid to push me out there. And sometimes it's a great talk and sometimes it's not, but I don't beat myself up about it. Like, not beating yourself about it is extremely important, and not being worried about, well, who's watching or who commented, whatever. You're just putting it out there. Gary Vee is one of the, like, he is a social media, like, influencer to the max, and he's a businessman first and foremost, but he posted every day. Yeah, I think he said for the first 3 years, and not one person watched. For 3 years he posted a video about wine for almost 3 years and nobody watched.
So there's hope. There is hope.
There is. Like, so when he said, I tell that in my head all the time. I remind myself, because even if I get one like, one heart, whatever you want to call it, depending on what platform you're, one comment, one share, one whatever, I'm just grateful for that one.
Yeah.
Like,
I totally agree with you.
And you have to remind yourself that there are many people, what was the number of people on social media?
There's 3.5 billion active social media users. Me worried about my
yeah. So I'm one person, right? Like to say, great job, or to put a heart, to like it, whatever.
Yeah.
So I definitely remind myself that for 3 years he did that, and not nobody watched. And now he's got, he's got over 1 million followers on Twitter. He's 1 million on just about all his platforms, 1 million plus on all of them. I don't know his exact stat, but he's up there. He now has a team that manages a team of 25 as his content. But for 9 years he did it all by himself. And that's why I beat myself up, because I tell myself, hey, if this guy can do it for 9 years by himself, I need to get better at it. And I need to, like, I do try to talk a lot nicer to myself so that I don't criticize, because that, that, and it's around mental health, when you're not kind to yourself and you don't give your grace, you can't do that for others as well. Yeah. So I try to be first and foremost kind and give myself grace around social media.
Yeah.
What do you do?
No, you hit it right. You right on the target, or on the nail. I would say it's all about a positive mindset and making sure you don't go down that spiral effect. And I really try not to. There's days where you do feel like, oh gosh, you're pushing out there, and you're like, okay, is it getting the feedback? But then everybody's different, and like you said, I think that's true inspiration with your story, is that if the consistency of you trying every day, something's bound to happen, right? And to never give up. I think that's the biggest key right there. And I think that's something that I instill in myself every day, as one of those repetitive things I have to think of, like, okay, never give up, keep trying, keep pushing, because at the end of the day, like you have mentioned, it's not about us. It's the bigger picture. It's the impact. And that could be for one person. That could be for two people. You just never know what it is and what you're trying to send out there in the message, if it's positive. And at the end of the day, I think that you just got to trust and believe in yourself. And so don't allow it to be scary. Don't allow that mindset to come in and take it downward. Instead, say, you know what, I'm going to do it, and then keep pushing forward.
Because comparisons, when you start comparing yourself to, I try to look at what, I try to always give love and support to others, that are consistently being on social media, like yourself. But at the same time, I try to not compare myself to people. Like, I'm just like, I'm doing the things that I like and care about and could talk about are totally different than the next person, right?
Yeah.
And that's really, like Gary Vee says, what can you teach someone about those things? That's
Yeah.
the way everybody should approach social media. What can I teach? Like for me, mine's about family caregiving, about mental health, about social media, about podcasting live. Like, so I think when I'm going through that, what teach people, what do I answer questions all the time about? And
Yeah.
I reach for those,
That
those
audience. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, to reach that audience. I reach for
Mhm.
it's the content, because you have to tap back into your own self to figure
Mhm.
out what those stories are, right? So that you can
Yeah.
with someone else.
It's like it's an evolving. You have to evolve and refocus and regroup. You have to always be like not I would say one step, but you always have to be growing and learning at the same time. And I think
Where,
when you're putting that
yeah,
things, what you're putting out there, like for me, is always about daily inspiration. A lot of that could be the same path that I'm walking. I'm showing and guiding other people too. And I think at the end of the day, you're right. It is truly what speaks to your heart and what you want to put out there to the world for everyone else to see. So
yeah. And that's authentic. That's where you get the authentic content that everyone is seeking, because it's not perfect. It is thoughtful.
yeah.
It's not scripted. That is, you have to reach within yourself to think like a teacher, like think edutainment. One person out there, I remember they labeled it edutainment,
I like that.
education and entertainment together, so it becomes
Yeah.
edutainment. And I'm not, I make myself laugh all the time. I think I'm hilarious, and I know that others
You
might not.
are. I like that you make me laugh. So I love it.
I appreciate that. And it's, and so I have to remind myself that I might not make everybody laugh, but I can make people laugh, and I
Mhm.
like to do that. I like
Yeah.
to smile to someone's face. And so I have to think about the information that I want to share about my life and my experiences. It's real, and it's
Mhm.
definitely useful to someone's.
Oh
Putting just
gosh. Yeah.
getting it out there consistency is key.
Yeah, it's about your own experiences, right? I think the ultimate goal of it is helping someone else become next in the level of where you're at, and you're helping them guide them that way,
Yeah.
and showing them, coaching them through it in a sense of a way of through your words and through your actions. And I think that's the great thing about social media. So I think sometimes there's, like, don't be scared of it, even though it can
Hmm.
be a little intimidating at the first step when you first
Yeah.
start off, but just wipe those scaries away, right? And
Yeah, wipe them away.
wipe them
What
away.
what would you say has been the like when you're about to, how what's the longest that it's ever taken you to post in that moment, would you
Oh
say?
gosh, the longest has taken. So like I already have. Woo.
Like a day, like 24 hours,
Yeah,
48
probably
hours?
within 24 hours, because I have this thing where I will do it, I will look at it, I'll put it away, I'll come back. I don't know how many times I've listened to myself to make sure, just to see, okay, this is something. And it's one of those rituals to where I'm like, I gotta stop this. Like, this is
Yeah.
okay, let me just do this. Let me sleep on it. No, I just need to do it in the moment, because sometimes when I do things in the moment is when I get my most engagement. When I
Yes.
when I don't, and I put things on the side, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back to it. Draft. You should see
Yeah.
my draft
It
boxes.
doesn't. Yeah, it does nothing gets posted, right?
It doesn't get posted.
It's sitting in drafts, and you're not posting, you're not sharing your truth. And so they're just, I mean, I find if I put it in draft even for 24 hours, like it's not posted. So I don't even, drafting is not a consideration for me. Like, and I suck at spelling, and I even I would rather not a lot of copy and put a few words that I know that are not incorrect, that are spelled correctly, and the video, and post it, than not do it at all,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I get into my head about it that I won't post.
Yeah.
And that starts to break my consistency and break down my practice, that
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be exercising. But it is definitely muscle that the more that you practice. I've been doing industry live for going on almost years. Before that, I did Kind Kids for about 6 months, and I tried that differently. But I keep changing things up. But the one constant thing is I'm going live every week,
Mhm.
live, whether it's one person or 10 people or 20. I just go live and have the conversation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
No,
people,
I agree. You definitely inspire me to be more consistent on my daily, but to not overthink things at the same time when it
yeah,
comes but, all my videos are truly things that, is from the heart. That does come from the things that I'm going through and the trials and the challenges and the positives, right? And I think that's why I don't stop. And then when I first stepped out and did it, I was like, okay, I don't know, because I worried about what everyone, you're opening yourself up, and I think that's
yeah,
where the biggest scary comes from. But I
yeah.
realize that at the end of the day, there's people who truly benefit and love it, and so it keeps me going. So it goes
Do you ever have imposter syndrome?
back. Ooh, that's a
Okay,
good
that's
question.
one of my social media scaries. Like, even though this is something I eat and sleep, I've done it for so many years. Sometimes because platforms are so often, and
Yeah,
I don't always keep up. I mean, I can learn anything I want. Anybody can learn anything you want on. Hey, people, go to Google. Google owns YouTube. Either one of those, you can learn anything you want. But sometimes I beat myself up because I don't know the answer to, whatever it is that I should know. But I can't, because they're constantly changing
yeah. I,
so sometimes I'll get imposter syndrome, and I just have to, wipe it away by
mm.
giving grace.
I think it's easy to put yourself into those positions. And I think you got to also give yourself grace and understanding that you don't know everything and things are changing, evolving in different directions. And you got to kind of like back yourself off of that. And I think I'm learning that. I think, maybe at the early years, and now as I've
Yeah,
gotten more involved, yeah, no, like you can't, because you will get overwhelmed. And I think,
yeah,
so I just think you just got to be truly who you are and never lose sight of that.
yeah. And put kind reminders up around you to
Yeah.
remember that you're not, that it's not about you. It's not about you. And yeah, it can be scary, but the more practice and the more consistent you are, the better
Mhm.
and the easier it becomes. I mean,
Yeah.
look at when the first time I asked you to go live with me, you were like, "Oh, yeah, I can't believe I said yes." Like, you literally were like, "Oh, well, you caught me on a day that I said yes, because I really want to say no now." But I had already posted about it, so you've and through 4 different times since then. Like, it just becomes easier and easier, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I totally remember the first time, and this was probably one of my biggest scaries is going live, because I'm like, oh gosh, I can't stop, record, play. It's there's different from
yeah, you gotta,
training with
yeah,
your notes. It's straight conversation, but at the end of the day,
bloopers and all of it.
but you grow with it and you learn with
Yeah,
it, and I've had so much fun with that. So that's what
yeah,
you can't let the scaries hold you back. At the end of the day, you
yeah.
can't.
We all are imperfect. We all, stumble. We all spell words. We all, I mean, not everybody, but I feel like the fact there would Grammarly and all these spell checks out there if there were really good in the world, more than not non-spellers. I blame it on my dyslexia, but is that it happens to everyone,
It
to,
does.
to make a mistake, to misspell, to whatever it is. It happens, and you can't
Yeah.
beat yourself up about it. You just have to move on. And I notice the things, like I feel the pain for someone when they put like an image, and there's words in it and something's misspelled, and taking that down is more of a headache than and leaving it up and just seeing it and being okay with it, right? Like, I
Yeah.
feel for the because I know that people want it to be, but if you worry about uh something being perfect, your insecurities are going to creep in. It's never going to post.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say I think it comes back to giving yourself that grace within it, right?
Yeah, for
Especially if
sure.
if this is something you're doing within yourself and building your platforms and growing on yourself and branding, like you're going to go through your trials, right? You're going to go through okay, maybe that didn't work today. Okay, maybe
Yeah,
it'll work next week. Wow. And that's just the beauty of it. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at today.
yeah. I'm the same way. I mean, you do a great job. I'm just gonna, kudos to you. You definitely in my advice, and I don't even always take my own, like because I know it around my own mental health. I can get in my own way, when it comes to posting everything. And I'm giving myself grace that I'm like, okay, you're doing it on a weekly basis because I'm coming, strong. So, but since April, I haven't been posting regularly, and so I just try not to beat myself up. But I do know that it's consistency, that it's not about being perfect, and that I start getting into full that I have a computer, that I have the access, that I have internet. I'm just grateful that I can do this. That there is one person out there that it may, that what I say might affect. And so that's what I keep reminding myself to stay away from the social media scaries.
The scaries, right? A little past Halloween. Don't let it come to you.
So speaking of social media, I'm going to throw up how people can connect with you. What do you have? Like, let's do where I want to be mindful of people. So is there anything else that you're thinking of, that you want to share about around the social media scare?
No, only thing is, I think we kind of hit everything, right? And we talked it through. Just, I think that the key thing is to always trust and believe in yourself. Whatever you are choosing to put out there and doing and building, I think it starts with you, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's great. And it's true. That's what you promote. That's what you are authentically say that you're off camera. Like you're all about, the helping promote someone else, your own self, and using the things that you're saying to other people to do yourself. You have to do yourself first so you can take care of anyone else, right?
That is so true. That is so true.
So I appreciate you having the social media scaries conversation with me.
Oh gosh, thank you for having me again. I tell you, I'm getting too comfortable with this now.
Yay, I like it. If you watch on the replay, make sure you put hashtag and what city you watched us from. Is the link for resources down bottom. If you want to see on Google, just go to Google and you can put in hashtag ThatKimberly, and places that I'm live will come up. So you can pick from there, and you can watch a lot of the old as well. So I just like to share that with people, that go to the Googler and just put that hashtag ThatKimberly, because hashtags are for searching. That's what they're there for. So and everyone uses them now. So it's very important, and that could be a whole conversation on a different day. So I won't go down that rabbit hole. But I want to remind people, we will be you and I need to get together on what dates in December we're going to have you back. But 14th is Steve Gilbert, and we're going to talk about community and non and around the apartment community. And the 28th is me Ayler. I hope I pronounced it.
That's going to be fun to watch.
Yes, she's always a good time. And we're brainstorming, so to come on what that topic is. But she's a mastermind of genius brainstorming. So I think we'll come up with something fun that we can have a conversation about and get into some, saving the world's problems.
Right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So, well, I thank you very much. And I thank everyone for joining us. If you have a question, leave it in the comments. Have a social media scary, we want to know, leave it in the comments as well. And you can tag either one of us a question so that we can see it, because sometimes you don't see it if you don't get tagged. So yeah, until next Tuesday the 14th, which Steve Gilbert will be here. Have a great rest of your week, and remember, is caring.
Bye.
Bye, Lissi.